Okay, I found it. It was right by me and I didn't even see it. Okay, so I'm going to take my loop turner and I'm going to go through one side and grab my elastic and pull it through. I like to just catch the edge of it and then just pull it through. It saves you from having to do that boy, I'm so disorganized today. I can't even talk. To do the safety pin technique. Okay, I'm just going to secure it down on one side. Those threads. Okay, so how am I going to know how much elastic I'm going to need? Well, I'm not going to know until I try it on the doll. So I'm going to guesstimate what I want this elastic to be. I'm not going to say you need 4 inches or 5 inches or 6 inches because each doll is going to be different in the way she fits her camisole. It could be a different type of fabric. It could be a whole kinds of different things. So you're not going to know until you actually try it on your doll. So let's go ahead and assume that this is a pretty good width for the doll's back, and let's put a pin in it. You know, after you've been sewing for your dolls for a while, you get a pretty good general idea of what that outfit is going to look like. Okay, so here's the front of my camisole. I'm going to take the one side and I'm going to put a pin in it like it's going to be an actual seam. So my seam is going to be 1/4 of an inch. So take your pin and put your 1/4 of an inch seam in through the fabric. Okay, you can even actually go down and pin it all the way down so it's going to be like a real seam. Okay, same thing on the other side. Keep the one pin in where you're holding the elastic, and then just put another pin next to it where you would have your 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, or whatever seam allowance you like to use. Okay, so now we've got our pins in, we've got our camisole front and back together, and now we're going to want to get a doll out and try this on. So today I'm going to use Camisole. So even the American girls, they're all different shapes and sizes, so you're going to want to test this before you finish off your elastic. Okay, so go to the back and see how with your seam allowances in how that's going to fit. If it's too loose or too tight, loosen your elastic. If it's not tight enough, then tighten up your elastic. But this will give you a good idea of what kind of fit you're going to get on this camisole. And you know what? I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good the way it is right now. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is. But you also have to realize that you're going to have your spaghetti straps going across here. So give yourself a little bit of looseness so you have that working room where it'll still stay on the doll, but you can still get it on and off easy. So let's go ahead and take this off now. Try not to scratch your doll with those pins. And we're ready to sew the other side of the elastic. Okay, there's the one pin. Don't take your elastic side pin out. Just take the pin that's holding them together. Okay. I wonder how close I got to the other ones. Let's see. Kelsey seems a little bigger than the other girls. I don't know why, but she does. Nope, almost exactly to the money. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish off that one side. Since we know this is a good fit. put the needle down, so and then take the pin out. Okay, now we're ready to put in our side seams. So let's just go ahead. I'm using 1/4 inch seam allowance, so I'm going to take this right sides to right sides, and I'm going to sew. I'm going to line this up here. So if I'm off a little bit on the bottom, I'm going to trim the front of my camisole or trim the back of the camisole, depending on which is longer or shorter. I'm not going to try and stretch to fit it, because then it'll look funny. So just go with the best fit. If it's not exactly perfect on the seam, don't worry about it. Like I said, you can just trim it to fit. Okay, so in this one we're going up and down on the we're going in an up and down seam, so you can use a stretch stitch on here. Excuse me, or a straight stitch. I think it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to go ahead and, since we are dealing with a knit fabric, I'm going to go ahead and put it in as a knit stitch. Okay, so here we go. So this is side seam number 1. I'm going to work from the from the top down, and I'm giving myself 1/4 inch seam allowance. As far as these went, I didn't even trim the seams. I just left them 1/4 inch on both of them. This one I opened up and laid flat. This one I pushed off to one side. Either way, it's up to you. If you want to finish your seams, it's fine. Like I say, it's just totally up to you. Because I did a knit stitch on this side, I didn't have a the knit stitch on this machine doesn't have a back stitch. It only has an up and down. So I'm going to reinforce the top of this stitch again, because there is going to be a lot of taking on and off, and there'll be a lot of stress on that one area. So I would reinforce it no matter what stitch you're using. So when you use a knit stitch, when you hit the back space or the back stitch, all you end up getting is an up and down. So, but there we go. So I've got the side seam done, and I've got it reinforced, and I'm a little bit off. See how I'm a little bit off on that? So I'm just going to trim the front of the camisole, but I'm not going to trim it yet until I do the other side, and then I'll be able to even that up. So I'm going to come back and I'll have the other side done, and then I'll show you how I trim up the bottom, and we'll do the spaghetti straps, and that's pretty much it. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, we are almost done. I put the other seam in on the other side of the camisole, and I'm up to this point. One side matched perfect, and the other side did not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to line up my two seams, and then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to ease out that difference. Do you see? I don't know if I can do that here. See how I've got that? Here's my top and here's the bottom, and I've just got that tiny little bit of difference there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just line that up and trim off that little bit of extra. And that way I don't have to worry about anything not matching. Okay, so it around, see what it looks like in the front, and see if it looks good. Okay. I think it is good. Okay, so now it is time to move on to our straps. Okay, like I said, the tennis shoe fabric, t-shirt, I got tennis shoes on my mind. T-shirt fabric does have a right and a wrong, so make sure you have your right sides together. I don't have my glasses on. Terrible eyesight. Okay, so there's that one, and then this one. So however wide you decide to make your straps, whether you want them spaghetti straps or whether you want them a ½ an inch wide or however you want to do it, just make sure that you do these both the same width. And you have to use a stretch stitch because you are going to be taking this on and off the doll from the bottom up. So I have my machine set for a stretch stitch already. But I'm going to use my regular up to back one, up to back one, that one, because I think it gives me a nicer finish. And I want spaghetti straps on this one, so I'm going to give myself about a ½ of an inch and have my needle position in the middle, and I'm going to make my strap more spaghetti. It's a little bit thicker than spaghetti, but I like that width. So here goes. Oops. I didn't have my machine in the middle for one thing, and I lost my thread. I'm using my cheap 39-cent thread, so that could be why I'm having trouble. Okay, so let's try it again. This time I'm going to put my needle position in the middle. I've got my machine set for the stretch stitch, and I am going to try it one more time. Here we go. Nope, that didn't work either. Okay, third time is a charm. Let's see. Nope, something's wrong. Okay, I don't know what it is. Sorry, I probably should stop and figure this out, but these are all problems we all have. So, let's see. Okay, one more time. Okay. Temperamental. Okay, make sure you keep it lined up as you will. See the difference in the width if it's not even. use that stitch is because when you pull it, it's not going to break. I didn't start my, that's why I gave myself a little extra on my straps, so I didn't start it from the beginning, so I didn't have to worry about it going into the feed dogs. Okay, so trim about 1/4 of an inch maybe from between 1/8 and 1/4 from the edge of your stitching line, and then take your, if you don't have a turner, use a small gold safety pin. That's probably the only thing that's going to fit in these little, there's a thing called a bodkin. I haven't got one, but somebody says those work really nice on turning these things too. So I don't know if it's worth a try to find one if you can find one. Okay, so here we go. Sometimes getting this started is the hardest part. Okay, what's going on here? I think I grabbed too much fabric, maybe? Okay, well, that's not working. Let's try it again. Maybe I had too much fabric. You're supposed to use the diamond. You're supposed to use a, and then twist it, and then turn, and then it's supposed to slide right off. Okay, it's coming. It's just being nasty today. Okay. Yep, it was just giving me a hard time. Okay. Okay, strap number 1. I'm not going to put you through that for strap number 2. And I'll get that done. Now, as far as sewing these straps on, you can sew them on by machine or you can sew them on by hand. I like to sew mine on by hand because I don't like to see it in the front. And if you sew it by hand, you can just sew it to the back of your fabric. Also, you can also put that spaghetti strap, situate it so that the seam will be lying up against the doll's skin, so you'll never see that seam. So you can do that, or you can just put it to the side like it wants to go anyway. It's up to you. As far as the hem, you can just go ahead and turn the hem in and sew it like that, but because you're on that stretch area of the fabric, I'm going to use the Sewology. And the reason I'm using the Sewology to stabilize the fabric is because I don't want any stretch in the bottom of my camisole. So I'm going to insert this, I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to sew my hem in here the same exact way I sewed the top of the camisole. And this way I know I'm not going to get that stretch. So that's how I'm going to put the hem in. So I'm going to put the hem in, I'm going to finish the other sleeve, and I'll show it to you when I'm done. But that's pretty much the whole thing on this camisole. So, okay, I'll be back in a little bit.